Hi, friends. I have resistance to doing what I'm laying out here, which is why I think we all do. And this is my way through it. And I'm sharing it with you. And it's like you don't know that you're part of my creation, part of our creation. And so I welcome you to I welcome you to this project of how to make $15,000. I welcome you to this project of how to make $15,000 every 15 minutes. If you could do that, what would you create? So I invite you to practice working together through our resistance. And first thing that I say that I must know and be good at is that my focus will be on $15,000 every 15 minutes. And I invite you to practice this with me. And to practice what? Creating choices. And I look at like, where do I create my choices that have made the biggest impact in my life is that at number one, to notice how I start my day becomes my day. So how I choose to start my day becomes my day. It is how my day goes. And I say that this is something that we can all explore. So how are you starting your day? I have a morning routine. I don't do it all the time. I have resistance to it. It's not work, like I'm not well versed in practice, and this is me taking it to another level. So my first routine, and this is what I'm committing to, like holding myself accountable to, is that one, I'm going to wake up in the morning grateful. Grateful, one, that I'm alive, and grateful, number two, that I love my wife and I love my kids. I'm going to do that. And the next thing is like, I'm going to hydrate and health. Hydrate and health. And this is to drink enough water and drink my green drink that I do and prepare for my cup of coffee before I sit down and do my lenses. This is my meditations and this is my choices. And this creates me carrying this focus starting throughout the day. Like I said, I have resistance to this. I have been half-assing it. But I think we can learn so much more together rather than judging myself, beating myself up, not being good. Let's put it out like, this is what I'm up to. This is where we're going. And we all have parts of this coming up. And what I want to be able to do is take you through how to make $15,000 every 15 minutes. I haven't done it yet. I've created them. I've got several creations of them. I haven't seen it yet. And only then would I be validated in an old thinking. But what I'm doing is that I am limited with what I can do by myself. And in this is to create with you how we can do this, because I believe that you would want this too. And what is important about the $15,000 is not the money. It is the 15 minutes of your focus. Because what we learn, what I work with here in the lenses is the foundation of life that one, we can choose a life we love. This is not what we normally do. Number two, orienting choice, like we can have it anytime, all the time. And what I work to is create this to be my starting position. One, the life that I love. Number two, that I'm a powerful creator. I choose to be a powerful creator rather than being a victim to the circumstances, to things out there. Mine was being a victim to success. I couldn't have happiness until I was successful. So one is to like a life I love. Underneath that is to be a powerful creator, and then just to live my authentic self, be my truth, be my true self, my true nature, my true purpose. Oh man, and that is difficult. But when we share it together, we can help each other along the journey, which is what I say we're here for. And so we have a life I love. I'm a powerful creator. I live in my true nature and purpose. And then number four is like I choose health and vitality. I choose health. I choose to be healthy. And these are the orienting choices that I spend 30 seconds each stepping into the emotions of that, seeing what it would be like, so that I can teach my body to have that today, right? To be that today, so that I can see that today. All this is the first steps of creation. So how are you creating your day? Are you focusing on $15,000 every 15 minutes? What are you focusing your 15 minutes on? And if you do this, what would you create? And so in this is just how are we together creating this so that we can go for what I want. And I'm just sharing my routine so that you can practice, try on yours, audition it. We can share from each other so that we can learn. And so what I love to remember here is that when we're creating choices, it's like, so I invite you to practice with me, practice working through our resistance, noticing it, moving out of the way so that we have more choices. Because with limitations, we're limited choices. And when we can see all choices, we understand where we're at. And so we can start our day becomes our day. And this is a choice. Yes, I know we all have the same time. It's what we can choose to do with it. And so I wanted to walk through my morning routine, which is, I don't do it. Did I do it this morning? No. But here's my intentions that I'm practiced to be grateful. I roll up in the morning, make up and be grateful that I'm alive. Roll over, thank my wife, like I love her, say that just to myself, to the room, and then to my kids. And then to hydrate and health. Now I do this one pretty good. It's like I drink my water and I drink my greens. Yeah. And so that's a pretty good habit. And my coffee, that's set up. That's a routine. And then I sit down and do my lenses. Not so good, but better than I've ever been before. Yeah. And so in this lenses is my meditations and my choices. All that you have access and available to, that's part of this here, just sharing what it's there for you so that you can share with me what you're doing. And when we can collaborate with our choices, we can begin to amplify our creations together. See, this is not out there yet it's there. I hadn't seen it. So I'm going to walk through my morning routine. And just as a part of sharing it with you, as you are part of this 15,000 every 15-minute project for the next 7 days. Yeah, we have a couple of things coming up. And because I've been working on this with you, it is important in my next 90 days. And so in this is like, I have resistance to doing my lenses. I have resistance to doing these steps that I shared. I don't always do them, nor do you. That's okay. And if you do, that's okay too. What is important is that we have it in our focus and help each other get to it, to realize it, to be it, to enjoy it, to live a life I love, to live as a powerful creator, to find your true nature and purpose, live that, healthy and vital. And then whatever specifics that you want underneath of it is where we begin to focus our attention, because you are always focusing your attention on something. Is it on what you want? So I'm going to go into a deep dive of how to do the lenses. I walk you through the orientational version of this. This is the high level daily. And then my commitment is the next 7 days is to produce my version of this. Now, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be in Arizona. I'm going to be for a competition for my son. I'm going to be out of my normal routine. And it's like, oh, what a great place to do it. Or my choice could be, I can wait till I get back. Well, I'm after 15,000 every 15 minutes. That means everything that focused in here is like, got to be aimed at that. Is it all the time? No. The more that I can pay attention to it, the more I can put our focus, the more I can align my intentions to it, we can be. So I'm going to share my screen here and walk you through the lens process. Let's get back up all the way back up to the top. And I want to add this version to it so that you can see with me. I'm going to bring you here so I can see. There we go. And I'm going to be looking down at my screen here while I do this. And so here's like the lenses. What I said is like the meditation and choices. And so here is the lenses, and lenses is like a whole process depending on where I'm at in my day. Usually my Saturday, Sundays, I'm a completion and starting the next week. This is my intention. Don't always do it. And I'm not satisfied with my practice of that now, but this is me working it with you. So this is what we'll be aimed at together. And so in the lenses steps is one is like a hierarchy of how they work. It's one is like a creative structure. First of all, is to live in a creative structure. To do this is through those 4 choices. One, to notice that it's I choose. Because when you say I choose to live a life I love, you're not fixed to it. It can change. And it is that you already are it. This is a creative structure, and this is power. Under the orienting choices, the 4 guides I'd like to bring your focus in that, it's again around love, a life you love, right? It's around your power as a powerful creator. What would you create? And in your true nature and purpose, like what would you just love? What is your purpose? And then health and vitality, which is like peace and prosperity. And then under those, it's like, oh, like that's what we're always going for every moment. And so if like I'm lost anywhere, it's like those are the ones that we look for, that they become our guiding star, our North Star that we look for. And we learn what would it be like to feel that, to have that, to be that, so that we can be it. And then we have true choices underneath that. And what I'm working true choices is like 90 days out, a year out. What do we want inside of that would be in alignment with that? And then, so in true choices, it's like, what happens when we get there? It's to pull us through. It's the big picture. It's the big vision. It's the big, like, oh, what happens after 15,000 every 15 minutes? Because I have a desired reality to create a long-term direction of creating 15,000 every 15 minutes. How long will that take? I don't know. It sounds like fun. And so in there, we have 30-day milestones and quarterly milestones, year milestones, and all of that is like, see how they can all break down into different buckets if we want to think of them that way. But I think of them all as collective, as a source all together at it. And in that is what we can produce. And so then we have a 7-day action plan. And this is where I'm really focused in on you, is like, oh, here's what my next 7 days look like. And I invite you to join me on that. And then after that is like, oh, what did we learn that we can create in the next 7 days? Longer term horizon. And then we begin to work a creation on some sort of structure so that our habits get it and work it and become it, so that we have it and be it. And then that's part of the morning routine, the morning ritual, which is going through that. So that's what we're focusing in on. That's what we're aiming it on. And here, like how I love to start my morning with that is to practice choosing the end result of a life I love. Now, this is the 5-step creator's code that I teach in here. And it's, where is your starting position? Where do I wake up in the morning? How do I start my day becomes my day. How are you starting your day? Remember what I said is that I'm committing to, I choose to start my day with gratefulness, to be grateful for being alive. And then to roll over and love my wife, and then love my kids. And remember that I am alive is to love myself. So what does that feel like to live a life I love? It's that, is to be grateful for that. It is that. That is my moment of a life I love. And so what would be the end result of a powerful creator in my life? Powerful creator for me is 15,000 every 15 minutes. To be that, to have that, to check that one off. And to check that one off is to teaching others how to do it for themselves, to remove the limitations, to remove the restrictions so that there's more choices, so that we can learn. I can be a demonstration of how to create choices for people and helping them to implement that in their lives, to change their habits, to change every moment. As I was sitting in the shower today as an anchor, it was like, oh, all the habits that I've changed from being done in a negative position, a negative orientation, from anger, stress, lack, and scarcity to more of abundance, and all of the possibilities that exist from that is like, that is powerful creator that I am. Like, that is what I would love to do. First step is like, what do you want? And just that you want just because you would love it, for no other reason. Because if there's another reason why you would love it, you would be fulfilling an egoic agenda, a lower awareness. And it's what is so important is our focus, our 15 minutes. And so then I choose the end result of living my true nature and purpose. True nature and purpose. This is, oh my, yeah. True nature and purpose. My experience, to live, to explore, to find my intuition, my heart, my passion, my purpose, peace, power, passion, and purpose. And prosperity is what I've been adding recently. True nature and purpose is the meaning to experience and to know, to explore. All of that is to notice when I'm not at peace and understand, what is the experience? What is the lesson? What am I learning? That is what it means for me to be authentically alive, to be living my truth, to be living my intuition, to be living my highest version of myself. And do I fall short? No and yes, because it can be both. It has to be both, from a higher awareness without the limitations, so that we can create choices and we can be in practice and notice the resistance we have. And then health and vitality. I choose health and vitality. Like, what does it mean? And know, how do you know you're having it? I have resistance to this one. That's 7 days, right? We focus in on that. This becomes one of my timelines. Interesting what's there. And so I'm working with a group that has a powerful recode session, and I have one coming up a week from tomorrow. And what's showing up there is like, I'm doing this process with them. We are creating this, and it's like, you're part of my 15,000 every 15 minutes. We have to start somewhere. And what I'm creating with is like, what in preparation for that would I normally do? And what I would normally do, this is what I sent. It was kind of like, what would you do normally before we would do this session? And what I would do is like, I am excited that we're really doing it, but I wouldn't put much more energy into it until the event. And then I would have brought my attention, my intention there to the group and aim to amplify it. And what I was really working with here was like, oh, how could we make this an asset rather than being in action to create it to be an asset? And so this is me creating with each of you what I would be doing inside of this to aim us for that. And so this is part of my 7-day focus. What I will do today is part of this video. And part of in my timeline, like through my lenses today, like working with my meditation and my choices, like for the next 7 days, one of the timelines is around my history, generational addiction. Between the power and the loss and the grief, hiding, not to be seen, the male and the feminine, and when they're in the middle, the peace and the love of the masculine and feminine, power and love, and that I've seen both, like seen through both of them. And that is what I say has to happen to be at peace. And so that is what is in there as I set up for Wednesday. So as I share my intentions with it, I anticipate I may or may not have a few more. Like I know there's 3 that we work with. You know who I'm talking to. And whether 2 more come or not doesn't matter. It's just what was there for me this morning. And so inside of the preparation for that, what it was is that to invite Kitty, and $100 was there. And to invite you guys and to expand the group of who would be involved in this timeline, just to acknowledge the resistance that might be there. And part of this is practicing our intuition. So we're going to, the next 7 days we'll work. But I made a request of each of you that are involved in the project to share with me what you're triggered with. What you're doing with it, what your intentions would be, because what would you normally do versus what are we going to do, and see how it turns out differently. We'll share with each other what's going on. Really what I'm doing is sharing with you. You choose to do what you want with it. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know what it'll turn out to be like. But that's part of what I'm working with inside of my choices here. Now, what I did there was like I'm adding some information in here because I find this is the best way to coordinate, communicate all of the different groups together. And so this was just the orient. And so it's like 30 seconds on each of these, maybe a minute. So 4 minutes on this, 2 minutes to 4 minutes on these choices, and stepping into that and aligning my day. It's how I start my day becomes my day. And so that's our orienting choices. The true choices, this is the land of plenty. This is an exercise that we go through that bring up ideas that when we're creating our true choices, our specifics, our true nature and purpose. And so this is what we do. We're early on. And what they do is they become your choices. Now, how did I work my choices here? Is I spent most of my time, and I'll call it 2 years, focusing on the core 4 and dabbling in my true choices, never really clear what they were and expecting them to be known and automatic and right there. So it has taken me time to let go that I don't need to know. And so what it's focused at is like breaking them down into chunks that I can work with, that I can share with you, because that's my way of demonstrating that I know this. And so that together we're going after creating what we want so that we can live the life we love. We can find our true nature, our purpose. We can be a powerful creator, and we can be health and vital because we do this together. And so it's like I'm in a 90-day window, is like I'm closing the end of my 2-year run of like becoming a powerful creator. And so the next 7 days, we all have an action item for the next 7 days. And this is day 1 of me sharing with you what we're doing for the next 7 days. And so this is how we can make $15,000 every 15 minutes by putting our focus and our attention on it. And again, to remember that it's that's not the money. The money is not important. It's your focus. It's your time. And it is worth so much more than 15,000. That's just the starting position. So in this was to share with you, the question is like, if you could learn how to make $15,000 every 15 minutes, what would you create? I'm here to help you notice the resistance to that statement, because resistance to that statement affects your career. It affects your life. It affects your relationships. It affects how you see yourself, your reality. And so I invite you to practice with me the resistance we all have to living a life we love, to living as a powerful creator, to living our true nature and purpose, our authentic self, and the resistance to being healthy and vital. While all the resistance to creating what you want to create in this world, who you want to be. And when we do it together, it is so much easier. It's so much better, so much more satisfying. Miracles happen because we are powerful creators. And so, and that was just what I wanted to share with you today. My practice, my routine on a high level. And part of the next is like following through on that. And so that was a high level of how to, welcoming you to practice creating choices, because how we start our day becomes our day. And that my morning routine is like, I intend to be grateful that I'm alive and the love in my life, to hydrate and be healthy so that I can be and work inside of my meditations and my choices so that I can start my day. And then to notice as I go through my habits is to be not from scarcity, but to be in abundance of them. In abundance is to practice noticing, where am I in scarcity? Where am I in fear? Where am I in anger? Where am I in lack? Where don't I have enough? And to notice and then switch it and be like, no, to recognize and realize and I do have abundance. Example was, it was like I was at the end of the jelly jar, right? Getting jelly for a peanut butter and jelly. It's at the end. It's like, oh, I don't have it. There's not enough here. There was more than enough in that, but it was like, oh, there's probably another jar in the pantry. Abundance. It's like, oh, I just don't have one right here. See how my choices were so limited. And it's so obvious. It's like, oh, I was brushing my teeth this morning and saying like how I can brush my teeth in abundance so that every time I do these mundane practices, if I can be from abundance, that is completely different than all my habits from scarcity that I've learned. And so in this is we can not hold each other accountable, but it is our progress, it is our life, and it is how we can help each other. And that is what I say, that is how we get to $15,000 every 15 minutes. And what you must know is not the 15,000 that's important, it's the 15 minutes. And I invite you to practice creating choices. And it all starts, like your day starts how you become in the day. So how I start my day becomes my day. How are you starting your day? And my morning routine involves being grateful that I'm alive and the love that I have in my life. Hydrate and health, that's a drink that I take before my cup of coffee and water. And then my lenses, which are meditations and choices that I create, all in the direction of what I would love to have. Remove the resistance that I have out of the way and share the stories with each of you. I hope that was helpful. Look forward to seeing you next time.